started. I see that Chief C disappointed me today. He has no items. And then so Chief Man has 2 items. Am I correct? Chief Cecil?
Yep,
Chief Mons is on the line, Joe.
Okay.
Did you need me or Chief Cecil?
Yeah, Chief Cecil, any item from you, right?
That's correct. I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Chief Man, we have 2 items from you.
Okay, Counselor. I have the Safer Grant item. Can you tell me what other item you have, please?
Okay.
ITF.
I have an item from the IT and then the Safer Grant, yes. Item from the PROAC, or was that not supposed to be part of this? For the what is this? Is the service agreement modification with Spectrum?
Oh, for the firehouses, Chief.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's that would be Dave Proack answering all the questions on that.
Okay.
Let Councilman Joke, I'll get him on the line.
Okay. Well, let's get going with safer grant item.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Counselor. So this item is a request to apply and enter into an agreement with the Department of Homeland Security underneath the Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response Program, otherwise known as a SAFER grant. We're looking to get this grant and for it not to exceed $4 million. The SAFER grant was created to provide funding directly to fire departments to help them maintain the number of trained frontline firefighters available in the community and to meet all the codes and standards underneath the National Fire Protection Association guidelines.
Okay, before we ask you any question, I have Councilor Driscoll and Councilor White here with us. Councilor White or Councilor Driscoll, do you have any question for the chief?
Sure, Chief. Do you know how competitive this grant is expected to be?
Yes, there's always a pool of money. It's very competitive. Just recently, in New York State, last year, the Yonkers Fire Department received an award of $12 million for 30 firefighters, which is one of the biggest grants that has historically been given out. Mostly every career paid fire department applies for this. There's approximately 104 paid fire departments in the state, and only Yonkers received that funding in 2020. In 2019, Buffalo Fire Department received a $10 million grant for 50 firefighters. And we actually received this grant in 2017, where we hired 12 firefighters and it saved the city $1.9 million over 2 years. This particular grant is for a three-year grant. The difference between every other year and this year is, and I believe it's due to COVID, typically a 3-year SAFER grant, FEMA would pay 75% of all salary and benefits the first year, and the next 2 years they would pay 35%. So there would be a local match of 25% and then 65 to 65%. But this particular grant, there's no local match, so FEMA will pay 100% of all salary and benefits for these 12 firefighters that we're asking for.
Got it.
For 3 years.
For 3 years, yes, sir.
Okay, then what happened?
And then the city starts paying those the funds for those salaries and wages. But typically we, in recent years, we've averaged 12 to 15 retirements every year. So at some point we're gonna hire 12 to 15 firefighters over this course of time. And I'm requesting in this upcoming budget that we hire 12 more firefighters at least to maintain our staffing levels. And so these firefighters will not cost the city anything over these next 3 years. Over these next 3 years also, I'll just add, we have 103 firefighters who will be eligible to retire. So at some point, we're gonna hire firefighters, and if we get this grant, it will just be the number that I have based off of the finance, giving me all the numbers with a loaded personnel cost would be $5.279 million the city would save over 3 years for the labor costs.
Now, Chief, do you usually do this? And I'm saying usually because you were awarded this grant in 2017, you said.
Yes.
Now, do you usually use this money to pay for a class that is already in transition, or does this spark an interest to have a new class?
Yes, if we actually get this grant, we need to hire the 12 firefighters that are in this grant application. So it would be, but it would also be, it would fall underneath the budgeted positions that I would have approved underneath the mayor's administration, and the council would approve our budget also.
So assume you had a class that you had scheduled for maybe say 25, right?
Yes. Yes.
Would this be a separate?
No.
Okay.
So if the grant gets awarded in August, we start hiring a class in September for however many people that I get approved in the next fiscal year's budget. And say we hire 24 firefighters, 12 of those firefighters, the city wouldn't have to pay any salaries or wages for 3 years. The other 12, it would be just as if the class we have now, where the city's paying the bill for all of those salaries and wages for the firefighters.
And did you say you have 103 potential vacancy in the future because people
Yes,
are
sir.
retiring?
Yes, sir. And that's from September 2021. Over the 3-year period would go to September 2024. That would be 103 firefighters. And if that we looked into 1 year further, that there would be another eligible 21 firefighters on top of that 103. So over 4 years, it would be 124. And so somewhere in that time frame, we would definitely need to hire, and this grant would allow the city to not have to pay for that.
So how many classes would that? How many classes have you proposed to potentially replace these retirements?
I think in this year's fiscal year 22 budget that we're organizing, we're still working internally on the request, but I'm hopeful to actually put on another class of 28, hopefully. And
when is that potentially?
We would probably plan on trying to get those firefighters hired starting in September.
So this grant would technically be incorporated into that process.
Yes, sir.
Considering that we get awarded.
Yes, sir. And I've been working with. Can you repeat the last part of your message? I'm sorry.
I say. So this grant, assuming that we get it, it would be incorporated into the budget of that class.
Yes, sir. That's correct. And if we don't get the grant, based off of our projected retirements, we would still need to hire those firefighters to fill the vacant positions to make sure we don't increase our overtime costs.
So just to bear off a little bit, currently, how many vacancies do you have, Chief?
Currently, we have 28 firefighters in our class right now. Based off the contingency plan, we have. It's a difficult question because I have people in recruit class right now. We're expecting everybody to finish the class. If everybody finishes the class, we would have 8 vacancies. But then we have an additional 8 firefighters retiring before August, and then another 7 retiring after August. So we would have close to the 28 firefighters that I'm requesting for the class for next year. You need me to explain that again? I know that was a lot of information, but
No, I got it.
Okay.
Councilor White, any follow-up here? You okay? Councilor Driscoll? Did we lose him? I see Councilor Peniawa join us. Thank you for coming.
Sorry, Councilor Majuk, I was trying to find my unmute button. No, I'm fine. No questions. That all makes sense to me,
Okay,
Councilor Driscoll.
all right. This is a good grant, Chief. It's just I'm just concerned. My only concern is having a grant like that, which would persuade us to create a class, and then the class drop, in our laps, and wouldn't have a way to keep paying them, or
No, I understand your concern, Counselor. I'll just clarify. Regardless if we get this grant or not, we are still, as a city, are going to need to hire those firefighters. So it's a matter of we apply for this grant, and the federal government's going to pay the salary and wages. But at some point, we're going to need to hire the class, and I am proposing a class in my next budget to meet these needs. And this grant will allow the city not to pay, like I said, over the three-year period, the fully loaded labor rate for those 12 firefighters. If we actually are awarded this grant, the city will save $5.279 million.
Okay. All right.
And if we didn't get this grant, that would be money the city would be paying out of our budget.
Okay. Motion to move it.
Moved.
And a
Councilor
second?
Driscoll.
Councilor White, second. Councilor White, you are muted.
Second, sorry.
All right. We'll move this item. The next item, Deputy Mayor, is Dave Prowakin.
Yes, he is, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Counselors, I want to apologize for being late. This is usually under the Finance Committee, so it caught me off guard, and but I was late, and I shouldn't have been. I apologize. So the legislation that I'm proposing before you is for upgrades at Station 2 and 18. Two of our fire stations need some additional IP addresses from Spectrum. In one case, there is a $99 one-time install fee. Going forward, the two fire stations will increase about $22 to $24 per month. So total cost on a monthly basis is $50, $600 a year, a one-time cost of $99. All of this will be paid for in IT's budget. And we're doing these upgrades at 4 different fire stations, 2, 18, 3, and I think 5. And they're to support some of the smart city initiatives. Specifically, these are going to help form the backbone for the sensor network we're getting ready to put up. So the other 2 have already been approved. One's installed, one's in progress, and these 2 just need your approval, please.
Is that for all the fire station, Dave?
Not for all of them, Counselor, just for 4 of them. The sensor network uses a technology called LORAN, and it has a very, very far range. So you just need a few of these sprinkled around. And since we already have Spectrum services at the fire stations, just doing a little bit of add-on is much cheaper than getting a new service at like a community center or a library or something like that. So it's only 4 stations in total that will need this additional work in order to form the backbone of the network.
Okay. Councilors, any questions?
Yeah, just briefly, Dave, I'm just looking at the appendix here attached to the letter on the request for legislation, and I'm just noticing that it only lists 2 different stations, but you're referencing 4 stations. What's the discrepancy there?
So the discrepancy is there was previous legislation that asked for approval to do all 4, and followed a miscommunication. We have it in writing for Spectrum to do all 4 at one price, but instead they said they can't do 2 of them at the price they previously told us they could. So I'm reapplying to get these 2 done. It's a matter of $10 or $12 a month. I'm more frustrated by taking up all of our time doing it again and having to wait a full month to get this done, but that's why, Counselor. The other two are already done, and these other two are waiting.
All right, thank you.
So I assume you will be coming back to us, Dave, again?
No, this will be, I'm always coming back for something, but not for this, hopefully.
Okay,
This will be it. This will be it for this one.
okay. Council Driscoll, are you good, or you got a question?
That's all good with me as well, Councilman Majuk.
Okay, motion to move it?
So moved.
Or
Second.
second.
All right. All right,
Apologize again
that-
for being late. Sorry about that.
It's okay, Dave. Thank you for coming. Thank you for accommodating. I think that will do it for our meeting unless if there is any other item, Chief Mark. That's it, right?
Yes, Counselor, I'm all set on the fire department's end. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Counselors.
All right, and we have nothing today from the police. All right. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Councilman Majuk.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.